Today is Monday, August 24, 2020. This is a regular meeting of the Board of Education. We're starting our public meeting here on a tour, and then after that we'll move to executive session, and then after that we'll do another public meeting.
All right.
Motion. Right.
All right, motion to enter public session? Therese? Or a
Second, I
second?
second, okay.
Okay. All in favor?
All right. This is our new second floor addition. It consists of 8 teaching spaces, 3 bathrooms, an elevator. It is fully air conditioned, all the spaces, stairwells. It has all LED lighting, which is motion and occupancy sensor. Basically, they're almost done. They have a little bit of work down there because they just installed the glass fire rated panel on that display case. Mm-hmm. And we just have to come up and clean up for good. But, you know, we can go through all the classrooms and, you know, give you an idea of what we have.
Great.
Yeah.
So this is this is the way it will be set up for the kids. Their desks are not exactly where they need to be because we came in here and cleaned the floors, so we will put them back at 6 feet apart. And there might be an extra desk or 2 in here because we don't really have final numbers yet, because it seems like a lot of more kids are moving into the district. So we've been adding furniture. So we've left furniture up here just in case we had to basically add, you know. So it's all modern, and this is all whiteboard surface.
I was going to say, is this like
Yeah,
dry erase?
you can actually write on it. So there is some of this. We did purchase a bunch of this modular like ottomans and stuff, but we obviously can't use them.
Yeah.
But we've kept them in the spaces because we don't want to put them outside in a container where they won't do well. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah. Very nice. Cool.
So will the kids be using the cubbies in here?
No.
No.
So they won't be, not really.
So this room had all
Yeah, there were.
lab tables.
Yeah, there were 4 large mobile workstations in here that we had to remove to make space for social distancing. Obviously, the Nariva span behind you is the newest and greatest smart board, is what it is.
I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, the classroom is set up for the social distancing. It's not the way we would have set it up had we not been in this situation.
No, there were different desks for this room. There were stools. It was totally like a much more modular kind of like, you know, free-flowing kind of setup. It didn't have really student desks like these.
No, this is a nice space though. It's beautiful. So this system here, can this play media also? So it's not just like a smart board, it also plays like...
Chris?
Yeah, we connect the internet and
Right,
things
so
like
you can
that,
play
absolutely.
film
What's great at
and-
this, you can throw things from one screen to the next. Like, that's how it was explained to me and how I viewed it, so
Yep.
it's outstanding.
That's really cool.
Absolutely.
And then for the kids at home, then I guess the camera what would be the technology that they're looking at? I guess the teacher's laptop?
It'll mirror the screen, yeah, because the teacher's computer will mirror what's on the smartboard.
Oh,
So
right.
by sharing the screen, we'll see what's on the.
This is actually a double classroom. That wall breaks down and folds to the right into that space. But we have it up now because obviously we're using it as 2 separate classrooms. But the wall is basically, it's very well designed. You can take a piece of it out and put it away, but then you can take a section of it and move it back and forth. So if you wanted just a piece of whiteboard up, say, in the middle of the room, you can put away all of it and slide the one piece to the middle, or you could leave like one piece on each end, and like you can take out parts of it and just slide them in. It's kind of modular, so it doesn't require you, and even if furniture's stacked against it, you can still put it away. So inevitably, when we set up the room for regular school, we'll probably have file cabinets, tables, and stuff. So it's not requiring the custodians to move all this furniture to clear the room. It literally there's a tool to open it, and you just fold it.
Just get that little clock.
Yeah, you open it up, and it just turns and slides in. So you can basically have stuff stacked right against it and put it away. So it's a much better design than those old scissor doors that basically you had to move everything out of the way and get everyone out of there. It's not motorized, so there's no safety issues.
Right.
Yeah, so.
And so is the idea then that there's going to be a cohort, and let's say this is their room for the
Yes.
day?
So there's
Okay.
14 kids in this room
Mm-hmm.
because of social distancing.
Right.
Does each room have its own thermostat?
Yeah, they don't. They just show you things. There's no controls.
Okay.
The teachers can't stand and go one way or the other. There's no adjustment on them.
Okay.
That's
But
all controlled
Do you have
by.
the ability to make one side of the building warmer than the other? Is there?
Up here, I can individually control every classroom.
You can?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, it's on a building management system, so I can, or I can call our controls company and have them make the adjustments.
Right.
But,
So
yeah.
it's zoned.
Yeah, it's zoned for every room has what's called a VAV. So it basically provides air and heat, cooling and heat to the room. Yeah, so you can adjust it. There's a lot of parameters for adjustment. And it's on a building schedule, which we can modify if
Right.
if we desire. Like I know that there's a desire for more fresh air, so we might see what we can do about on when the weather's nice, pumping in fresh air before school. Like at, say 5 o'clock in the morning, have everything come on and just instead of any cooling or heating stages running, just pumping air into the rooms, to provide more fresh air.
So you have a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
So if you have an after-school activity going on in one classroom, you can just keep that classroom.
Yeah, you literally, if you know a schedule, like if we were having like an event up here at night, let's say there was a board meeting.
Right.
We can make this space stay cool, but then let everything else basically go back, The bottle fill will still be working, and there's 3 of them in this building.
Yeah, kids aren't allowed to use water fountains during
Yeah.
this time, so we have the bottle fillers in other parts of the building too, and kids should bring a water bottle to school.
And this is the east stairwell. It goes outside and connects you to the lower, so there's egress and travel on both ends of, depending on where. I don't know if John's setting up one-way travel up here, or,
Still working out, but that's not the plan right now.
okay.
But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, you won't have much travel anyway.
Up here.
Yeah, so,
Up here now.
yeah.
When you say travel, what do you mean by that?
Like kids leave, if we wanted kids to go down one set of stairs and up another, so there's
In the
no,
middle school,
Yeah, you can
where
keep
there's
people in the
more
same spot for a
traffic,
long time, yeah.
we have upstairs and
Right.
downstairs
Yeah.
staircases. That's how we're planning it, right? I mean, on hallways, that's how we're
But
planning.
under the
it.
reopening plan that we're currently in, there's not
Yeah.
a lot of moving around. People will be sitting.
yeah, in this building, yeah, there'll be very little
But
travel.
they're sitting for a longer period of time, but we're looking at traffic when kids do change classes.
And downstairs, it's only one floor here other than this floor, so it's just going to be almost like car traffic. 2 lanes, 6 feet apart with paw prints on the ground, and that's how we're going to do it. Down there.
All right, anyone have any questions?
Nope. Can we check out the new vestibule? Is that where we're going next?
Sure.
I'd like to.
Yeah, let's go that way then.
They're being set up socially distanced so that teachers can teach and students can learn. So it doesn't look like the traditional classroom that we have.
So these doors don't have electronic access. Everyone will be vetted through this door. They'll come up the ramp. There's an electronic release. The security guard can see there's a window out onto the ramp. And we're putting a camera basically to where we're going to locate it so it shows the bottom of the ramp so they can actually look in the camera instead of, because they can't see someone until they come up to the window. But everyone will be vetted through this door, and then there's an electronic strike on that door. So even though they're here, they're not technically inside the building.
Right.
So they'll be vetted by the security people and then basically allowed in, once they have an appointment.
All right, so that concludes our tour. We're now going to move into executive session and then come back out into public session in a little while at 7:30. So do I have a motion to move into executive session? Perez?
Second.
Second, Lori? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Today is Monday, August 24, 2020. This is the second introduction of today's meeting. We met earlier for a tour, a Board of Education tour of the new construction and the facilities, and now we're convening our regular public session. If we could start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge of Allegiance. And also, we just came from executive session as well. And we finished that up. Okay. So before we start with comments of the board, I just wanted to make one notable observation, if you will. The last 2 meetings or so, I think we've had 2 meetings in public since the Zoom meetings that we used to have. And in those previous meetings, you may have seen us come in, we had our masks on, and then we sat in our 6 feet apart seats, and then we took our masks off. We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to keep the masks on. We don't feel like what we've done before was irresponsible. We think that we've kept the distance and we're keeping the crowds to a minimum. But now that the reopening plan is a little more solidified, and the reopening plan includes having our kids and teachers wear masks all day, we think it's a good example to set and also keep consistent with that district plan. So we're going to go ahead and keep our masks on the entire meeting, okay? All right, so we'll start with board comments. Laura, you want to start?
Sure. To keep it very brief. We had our tour today of the new construction. It's great to see it finally near completion, and the upstairs came out beautiful. The downside is all the movement that's going on and not being able to really have it the way it was originally envisioned, although we will get that someday. But I just want to recognize and thank our Director of Facilities, Marty Danko, and all the administrators, our superintendent. It is, it's the visual just says it all in there. It is crazy what they are doing and have done and will have to do, but I'm very impressed. We will be ready, but it's a major, major undertaking, and one that is, it's hard to imagine doing it in the time frame that they've done it. So I just want to thank them, and I am looking forward to the kids being back in a hybrid model. So that's all I have to say.
Great, thank you. Therese?
Thank you. So the tour was definitely eye-opening. I think that kids are resilient, so for as much as it'll be very different for them and unusual in the beginning, I do think they're going to get used to it quickly, and I think that ultimately they're where they need to be, which is in the classroom, especially for the younger kids. I am glad we're able to also offer hybrid for the older kids, and I'm hopeful that we will be back to a typical school day, because it was different, and part of it almost felt surreal, to be honest with you, that this will be what they'll be walking into as their first day of school, because it is different, I guess, for everybody except the kindergartners from what they've always known. So I think as parents, we just keep reinforcing that it's going to be okay, and it will be okay. The masks are not a big deal, and I think they'll do well. The classrooms are set up very safely, and they'll be able to have mask breaks, so I think it's going to be better than we anticipate in ways, and I do I commend the administration and everybody that's been involved in this process, from the janitor staff and the movers that are now involved, because it is a major, major undertaking. And it's clear that people have been working around the clock to do what they can to make this a good start for our students, which is most important. So thank you to everybody who's been involved. That's it for me.
Lori?
Likewise, thank you to all of the committees that came together to execute a really good plan, or at least we hope it's executed well. It should be. Having been a teacher myself, walking into this space today was, as you say, just surreal. I can't even I'll be glad when this is over, and I look forward to the students coming in and adjusting, but it is going to be a huge adjustment, particularly for our educators. So I guess what I would say to all of you out there is to, I'm not saying cut them a break in terms of quality education. We need to make sure we do that. But for some of the things that we might be sort of picky about with our teachers, I think that we need to cut them some slack, because this is going to be quite an adjustment. So pretty much that's all I wanted to say, and again, thank you for allowing us to go in and see the new space.
Great, thank you. Yes, I'll just piggyback on that. The tour was great. I mean, I'm very, very proud of our district and our staff for their ability to be flexible and the ability to adapt. It is going to be surreal. It is going to be challenging, but they did a great job. And if you see the tour, obviously was filmed, so you'll see part of it if you watch it back. It may look a little scary, intimidating with all the stuff in the hallways, but this is my 4th year on this board, and although this is the first time we're dealing with this crisis, I've been on tours before, just a few days before school opens, and seeing the hallways like that and thinking to myself, oh my God, how are they going to get this thing ready? But they always do. They always do. So I have the utmost confidence that it will be ready for the opening of school. And then for the community, Laura mentioned, not being able to use the new space, exactly the way we wanted to coming out of the gate, and that's true. But try to look at the glass half full. Just think where we'd be right now if we didn't do that addition. If we didn't do that work, and we were trying to deal with this COVID mess with the old school facility, we'd be in a lot worse shape. So good investment by the community for sure, even in the near term. So, but yeah, that's it. So I think that's all. Anybody else? All right, good. So we'll just go ahead and get right into it. Dr. Goodman, you have any comments?
Yes. Hello. Good evening, board members, colleagues, community members, parents. This is our last meeting before the start of the school year. We are incredibly delighted to have our children and educators back in school again, September 8th for the students, and for our educators, September 1st. Particularly after such a challenging spring, we are really looking forward to that. We couldn't be more excited, really, to see our students again, seeing their smiling faces, whether they're in the classroom or they're with us virtually. As you know, some things will be different this fall. Please understand that this is the first time that we are doing this. Tuckahoe went above and beyond to utilize space, which the board members saw tonight. We have moved out furniture, we've had moving trucks, and we stored furniture in storage bins. As the board knows, this has been, and as they said tonight, this has been a really big task. We wanted to share with you a few things for all of us to think about over the next few months. And as many of the board members said, keep it positive. Our students, our children, hear us as adults, even when they think when we think they're not listening. So how we present this plan, whether they're virtually, you chose virtual, whether they're hybrid or in their school every day, the way we react is the way they'll react. Also, be patient with us. We have ordered extra bandwidth. We have, about doubled our bandwidth. We are looking at, doing the best that we can, but we don't know what happens when everybody is on the internet at the same time. Everybody in our area might be on the internet at the same time. So we will, there may be some kinks at the beginning, so please bear with us. If you want to see what we're doing, check our reopening plan. We are currently working on our reopening plan part 2. We should get that out by the end of the week. Our reopening plans are really intended to serve as a blueprint for the measures, systems, and practices necessary to provide the appropriate continuity of both care and instruction for our students, families, and staff as we begin the 2021 school year. Whether students are in the classroom, whether they're at home, our commitment to your children is to provide them with the best possible education. And I know that our teachers stand with us on that, and all of our faculty. I thank the administrators who have worked tirelessly to get us ready for this year. I want to send a special thank you to the custodians who are moving all our furniture and making sure that they're 6 feet apart. And I also want to thank the teachers. They have been hand in hand with us throughout this whole time. They have been on numerous Zoom calls with me, with their principals, during their summer vacation. They are part of this plan. I want to thank the union leadership because they have also worked very closely with us. And I think that's why Tuckahoe is going to be able to do this in the best way possible. These are difficult times for us all. Together, we can find a way to get through it. We ask for your support, again, to send positive messages to your children in whatever way you choose. You have my unwavering commitment to do the best we can for our students, for our staff, and families. I want to take a moment. So I think it's always important. We highlight our student athletes. We highlight our valedictorian, the salutatorian. But we really need to know that we have the Best Fine Arts program around. And I want you all to take a look at Facebook. I want to congratulate some of our 2020 graduates. Anthony July, he's been accepted at West Virginia University. Anthony was accepted into a very highly competitive BFA musical theater program, and he was also awarded a significant scholarship from the College of Creative Arts. Anthony is an amazing young man, and we are so proud of him and all his hard work and achievements here at Tuckahoe, and we're excited for him as he moves into the next chapter at West Virginia University. I am also proud to announce that 2 of our high school string students were also accepted into very competitive pre-college programs. Yuri Lee will be attending Juilliard's pre-college division as a composition major, and Kara Boardwell will be attending Manhattan School of Music pre-college division as a harp major. And a special thank you to our wonderful performing arts instructors. We really have the best here, and I'm very happy that we were able to institute the program back at Cottle, because it's very important. And as we see how our graduates do and how our high school students do, we see the importance of this in their education and how it really helps so many students exceed at very high levels. And I just want to thank the community for their support of all our programs and their continued patience and support as we go into our reopening plan. Thank you.
All right, great, thank you, Dr. Goodman. Next, we have comments by our Assistant Superintendent of Business. Ms. Lee, do you have anything?
Yes, thank you. I would just like to follow up and say that our construction project is finally reaching its endpoint. We see the end in sight. We're pleased that the final projects that needed to be done in order to finish the project are all completed right now. We're waiting for our final paperwork and punch list items, but on the whole, the project is basically complete. We'll finish out the small things over the next few weeks, but we're very pleased that it was ready in time for school to start. And as we had talked about this evening, our facilities people, the custodians and our facilities director are working hard to move furniture and items around the building so that there's enough space for everyone to do the proper social distancing in classrooms. We're working on upgrading cleaning protocols for lunch as well as after school, and we are working hard to make sure that all those things follow the CDC and the DOH recommendations. In terms of finance, we've already started to hear from New York State that they are looking at withholding some of our state aid payments, which we were concerned about in the budget season last year. It's not quite clear to me or to other people around the state right yet. They started announcing this last week, talking about withholding 20%, although we are not clear what exactly that means. So we will be working with BOCES, Questar BOCES upstate this week to find out exactly what is on the table. I'll report to you as soon as I have more information. We did budget for some withholdings from state aid. So far, they're just withholdings and not permanent reductions, so we're waiting to hear exactly what happens, and we will keep you posted on that. Finally, I did want to just bring you up to date on the senior class funds that were left over at the end of last year, the class of 2020. There was $17,039 left over in the senior class program, the monies that they had raised for their senior class. And we have spoken with our attorney as well as reviewed the regulations from New York State Ed. And there are some options of what to do with those funds. One of the things that is recommended for extracurricular clubs is if a program graduates or a club graduates or they become inactive, that the funds need to be transferred back to the high school GO, in this case the high school. However, the current student body of the high school can discuss what to do with those funds, with input probably from the senior class as well as their faculty advisors, and they can vote on what to do, possibly hold the funds for a future activity, or decide to even give them back to the students if that's what they choose to do. These are funds that they raised. It's not funds that the Board of Education has responsibility over, other than to make sure that they're distributed properly within the guidelines of the state. So my recommendation is to let the faculty advisors work with the students and come up with a plan for how they wish to disperse the funds, and then we'll report back to the board of what they decide to do.
So if I could just say something about that. We know our students, we know our faculty, and I could say pretty much with certainty that those funds will be dispersed to the senior class that deserve those funds, who raise those funds. So that is our goal. I mean, they have to vote on it, but we know our community, we know our students. And unfortunately, we couldn't have a prom. It doesn't look like we could do anything in November. And we know that, we've heard from some parents that they would like the money back. And I think that's where it should go. And it would be dispersed evenly amongst all of the families that are part of that class. And again, they have to vote on it because we have to follow the procedures. But we know who we're dealing with and we know where it's going to go. So I just wanted people to know that, because we've had questions about that, and there have been families that are wondering if their money's going to come back. I think that's the best thing to do.
Seems fair to me.
We will follow the law and do it step by step.
Yep. Ms. Lou?
And
anything
that's
else?
it, thank you.
That's it? Okay. Thank you very much. So next we have comments from the PTA. Ms. Muehl?
Hi, everyone. I'm Susan Mealy. I'm the new PTA president. My term just started July 1st. This should be fun. So first off, I want to welcome Lori. We're so happy to have you on the board. And welcome Robin, and thank you for being so helpful already. And thank you, Lee, for postponing your retirement. And to the administration, I really want to thank Dr. Goodman, Dr. Linehan, Mr. Marash, the assistant principals, Chris Keogh, everyone for working so hard on this new reopening plan. I've been monitoring parent feedback, to get a sense of how people are feeling. And although obviously there's trepidation and so forth, the overwhelming consensus is that people are in awe of what you've been doing, how hard you've been working, and everybody really sympathizes with the difficulties of this situation. And the intricacies are mind-boggling. I mean, down to the level of who should come in what door and follow what hallway path to their class. Crazy. But you guys have been doing this nonstop, hauling furniture out into storage, all kinds of things that people aren't even seeing. And yet, every time I've spoken to an administrator, everybody's in a good mood. I don't get it, but great. This is the kind of people we have here. And it's making people feel really good about sending their kids back to school, because it's not just that you guys are coming up with a safety plan, but you're doing it even with a smile on your face, and that's who you are. And this is really wonderful. It's really great to be here in your care. And to the teachers as well for giving up some of their summertime to be advisors to this and taking on this task. We feel for them. All parents are really feeling for them, and we appreciate what they do. The PTA is also going to have to pivot this year. I don't have specific plans to announce right now because we're really sort of taking a pulse about how we can be helpful. But a lot of the events that we're known for, we're not going to be able to do this year, unfortunately. But we are going to focus instead of on what we can't do, we're going to focus on what we can do. And I've been in discussion with the administrators to try to figure out what that is. Where are we needed? And I want you all to think of us as like your National Guard. We have our day jobs, but we're at the ready to be deployed. So if we need help with extracurricular activities, with morale, with whatever it may be, we're here and we're ready. And anybody, I know Laura and Therese have served on the PTA and they can attest, and Lisa, when you're on the PTA, you're a doer. And we have about 40 doers on the executive board. We're ready to go. So you guys tell us what you need. We have some ideas of our own. And I also want to put out to families that we are here for you. If anybody would like to contact us, whether because there's something that you're hoping we could do or you want to get involved, I set up an email address, which is president.tuckahoepta@gmail.com. You could just use that email address just to reach out to, anything. For whatever purpose, we're here for you guys. So please keep us in mind. Anything we can do, just give us a shout. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Mealy. And congratulations to you, too, for becoming president.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so we have now our first recognition of the audience. This is for agenda items. If anyone has anything to say about any of our agenda items? Nobody? No takers? Okay. So then we'll move right on to the consent agenda. Motion to approve the consent agenda items 2 through 5. Do I have a motion?
Motion?
Therese? Laura, second. All in favor? Any discussion? Nope. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. On the agenda, it says that this is our second recognition of the audience. Is that correct? We usually do the second recognition of the audience at the end. Yeah. I'll skip it. We'll come back to it. So next, we'll do business of the board. We're going to approve agreements. Resolve to approve the service agreements A through C below. Do I have a motion? Therese? Second. Laura? Any discussion? Ms. Lou, do you want to say anything about these contracts, or?
Two of them, well, one's a professional development contract, one is for translation services, and another is for professional services to assist us in rerouting all the school buses to open school.
Okay. All in favor? All right, great. Next is personnel. Resolve to accept personnel action items A through L as outlined below. Do I have a motion? Therese?
Second.
Second. Laura? Lori? Any discussion? Nope. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And now we will move to our second recognition of the audience. This could be on any topic at all. So it's a long walk, right?
I did a lot of theater in my day. This is special. Okay. Good evening. Thank you, everyone, for your work and everything that you've been doing, and for your wonderful comments this evening. Positivity and the energy is so needed, and we're all going to have that as we enter. So I'm here tonight because I wanted to clarify for the members of the board and to the community, I can't see, why I chose to sign an open letter from union members to the communities of Westchester and Putnam County. I signed the letter in solidarity with all the teachers of our region to express the very real concern that the state and federal governments have left the entire burden of opening schools on the districts themselves, and that more support for districts is needed to ensure safe opening. And I think that's clear when we hear about the governor and the withdrawal or the withholding of our funds right now. So I think that's real. So the letter was not, however, intended as an indictment of the specific work that has been done here in Tuckahoe, where Dr. Goodman has worked tirelessly since June with the teachers to ensure a safe and successful reopening. The hybrid model poses many challenges, and working out the details of it has been the task we've worked on all summer. Teachers have worked closely, and I know you've heard this, but I'm going to say everything. We've worked closely with the principals and Chris Keogh. Teachers have been taking classes online to learn remote strategies and have attended many meetings to prepare for September. Teachers will be returning to, in some ways, an entirely new job. Teaching students in front of them and live teaching students at home, or teaching classes that are split into 2 rooms. The high school and middle school are introducing block scheduling, and some teachers will be teaching outside while others will be teaching in the repurposed gym and auditorium. And yet, through all of it, the teachers' main focus in these meetings is how they will be able to provide excellent instruction in these circumstances. They want to return to their students, and they're eager to do the jobs that they love. The letter I signed was simply asking that greater support be given to districts across the region to ensure teacher safety as they do those jobs. And not all districts have been the same as we are. and they don't have all the same resources that we have. And it really is in solidarity to all of them. Because of all these challenges, some districts have delayed or phased in their openings, and that's to meet their needs, right? So they had different needs than we do, and different challenges. Some of them are very large districts, right? And we're small, so we have a different set of circumstances. So here in Tuckahoe, however, we aim to be ready, and we're on track to open our doors to students on September 8th. I have more. In order to be ready, Dr. Goodman and I have worked together well, collaborating on a calendar that has been changed to include time for us to prepare our rooms, plan our lessons, learn new procedures, and participate in professional development, and to make our lessons as engaging as we can. I appreciate everything that you've done, everything. Last week, I did meet with Marty Danko, our facilities director, and he was wonderful. He brought Rebecca Chaffee, our building rep, and myself through the building. We went up on the roof. We learned what an HVAC system is. We learned about the ventilation. And I feel confident that the district has done everything that it can do to ensure safe ventilation. This has involved purchasing air purifiers, new filters, and other repairs. So a big thank you to Amy and the board for supporting all of that, and for Marty Danko and all his hard work. I appreciate it. The district has purchased PPE equipment to meet the needs of the teachers, including face shields, hand sanitizers, gloves, N95 masks, which are particularly important to the teachers who may be vulnerable to serious illness due to COVID. So additionally, Dr. Goodman has continually emphasized in every board meeting and in every single faculty meeting and webinar, has emphasized how we are going to enforce social distancing and the wearing of masks. And of course, the role modeling that we're all going to be doing is going to make it easier for all of us. At the last board meeting, we saw many hired staff and some more tonight that are, incredible amount of work, because there are people taking leaves, and we're only finding out now, and we're hiring new staff. And actually, Dr. Goodman was ahead of the game, was ready for it. So interviewing had begun already, and I think, we have teachers participated in those interviews, and we've chosen, quality people to come and serve and work here. So we have teachers that have been hired as part-time who will also be available as substitute teachers should the need arise. And so in that way, too, I believe we're ready to open. The next 2 weeks, we have two, are critical, and we will continue to work for what is best for the entire school community. But it is fair to say that this is not the ideal. What we truly want is for all our students to be back to full in-person instruction as soon as it is safely possible. And to do that, we must continue to practice safety measures. So I'm going to take this opportunity to speak to our community and ask them to please stand together in keeping us all safe, the children, the teachers, and all the staff of Tuckahoe schools. As we head into the Labor Day weekend, I ask you all to please wear your masks, avoid large gatherings that are social gatherings. If you travel, please be safe and quarantine appropriately if needed. And remember that there may be a classmate or a teacher with a health issue that makes them vulnerable. So please remember that in these next 2 weeks before the school year begins. Mm-hmm. Your masks as you care about them. Our current infection rates are decreasing, and we want to keep those numbers headed in the right direction. We've done an amazing job in New York. Furthermore, I do hope that by standing together in unity, pressure can be placed on our elected officials in Albany to provide more support for all our schools. I hope this clarifies things for you and the community. The TTA stands in solidarity with all teachers across the county, state, and nation, and with you, our Tuckahoe families and students as school opens this fall. We have one of the most important tasks to fulfill, the education of our children, and we take it very seriously. We are proud to serve our communities, and we will do all we can to do it well. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for those comments, Ms. Whalen. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It was a pleasure working on this with you, and we appreciate the comments,
Very good.
and with all the teachers.
Anybody else want to speak? Nope? Okay. So that's it for tonight. We're going to adjourn. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Laura? Second, Therese? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much for coming out tonight. Appreciate it.